Well, it is that time of year when mock drafts become a whole lot more important. Welcome in, folks. We are Mock Draft Live tonight. Thanks for being with us. It has been a challenging day here on the tube, so we are going to get after it. Apologies for the show, meant to go off earlier, but wasn't able to complete that. Had some tech issues. Not sure what was going on, but it completely destroyed the mock draft I had already done for you. So we're going to have to do this one live together. And I've got a specific scenario that I'm going to try to recreate because I had done it yesterday as I recorded the show for you. So welcome in. Make sure you like, sub, and hit the bell if you are new to this channel. I'm Ryan. This is me going rogue along with my team. And we are always going to make sure that we give you everything that we can from the real point of view. What's up, Patrick? Nice to see you. Thundarius, nice to see you. Minotaur, appreciate you as always. Nice to see everybody in here. Want to give a quick shout out right away to our newest members. Debbie, welcome in. Appreciate it. Danny, nice to see you as well. Welcome to the memberships. I think you can probably, if you got gifted one of those, thank our guy Minotaur for getting those out to folks. Very much appreciate that. Flapjack, you didn't miss much. I'm playing from behind, brother, so you are OBKB. Patrick's nice to see you. A lot of familiar faces here. Appreciate you guys. We're going to use PFF tonight. Been working on experiment, and I am going to go probably faceless here to give us as much screen real estate as possible. There's a couple of questions. I'm going to hit them right now before we get started. Anyone know what the rumor that Noah Gray is retiring is all about? I do not know where that came from. I have no concept of if there's any reality to it. No one that I know has any clue yet. So I'll let you know when I do. What are the timetables for Najee and Jalen Watson to return from their injuries? Najee should be good to go by OTAs, at least for running. Haven't had an update on him in quite a while. Jalen's going to be a little bit farther down the line. I think he might get into OTAs, but I think it's more looking like a camp thing. But we should know here coming up. Probably the first OTAs are late March. We should know by then, and we'll have an answer for you. Devontae, your membership got messed up. I'm sorry, man. Sometimes they just run out, or if you have a card expire or whatever, that happens to me all the time. This is what's going on. It's always something that takes a little precedent. You might go check that. I'm really not sure. Unfortunately, I don't have any direct access into how the memberships work for your side. I can only see the numbers on my side. So it is what it is. I apologize, and hopefully it gets sorted out for you. Hey, thanks for being here, Chris, because if there's no one to talk to, there's no one for me to be on, right? So I appreciate you guys. Not going to go to hog wild with these questions, you guys. But real quick, just to finish them off, Chris Jones' deal could have been done last season during the holdout. I could be wrong. What do you think? Yeah, I absolutely believe so. In the end, it had the oversight of last year is really what pushed this through, I think, this year. Thoughts on Boyd and Osborne? Osborne's okay. Boyd is a serious contender. I just don't think that it's going to be low enough to get it done for the Chiefs. Ninjaman and John Jones both can play right tackle and left tackle. Yeah, I haven't watched either of them yet, but we'll take a look. Irv Smith, I said it this afternoon. Irv is really a Noah Gray type. So if there is any truth to this, I don't know. That could be the reason for it. But if Noah Gray is a Florio thing, then it's all BS anyway, so don't worry about it. Appreciate you, Panic. I need the grace every now and then, and I definitely do appreciate that. So let's get into it. I'm going to share the screen here, and I'll probably go dark on the camera for a bit so we can all just kind of get into what we're doing here, because the scenario that I'm really enjoying lately is what I want to get into. And that comes down to how I set it up. We're going to pick for the Chiefs, obviously. We're going to go 7 rounds so we have the availability of the picks to make moves. And I want to go fast but not turbo, which means we'll be able to see some of the picks come off. Now, get this done ahead of time, but I was not able. What I got this afternoon is a very, very specific scenario that I do think is legit. What I want to set it up for is the same parameters, where I think for displaying the most across the positional value is something a lot of teams look at. And I think PFF has that generally a little bit low. Same for drafting for needs. I think it's about even across the league. I don't think that it's something that there's more best player available teams than there are teams that need to fill holes, because especially when you get to the playoff teams, I think there are more holes that you have to fill, and you can't just take best player because you're good enough that you've got a solid roster. So this is how I set it up on PFF. You guys can do the same thing whenever you come in here. I'd like to set those in the middle. I do like to have the randomness setting on so that it's there. A lot of people shut that off. I do not, because you never know. Somebody's going to throw a weird quirk in there somewhere. So we're going to start this draft, and I may start this a couple of times because I want to get back to the scenario that I saw last night when I did this. I will entertain trades tonight. That's kind of the whole concept here, but I'm going to do it in chunks. We're going to let this come off about 10 picks, 11 picks, and see what happens. And got a little run on wide receivers here. Dunze at 7 was the third. Tackle Joe Alt comes off. You get the Byron Murphy selection. That makes perfect sense. Talise Fuaga comes off. Way too high for him. For me, would not be the number 2 tackle off my board, but that's okay. What we're seeing is that we've had a couple of tackles. My guess is right now, if we go another 10 picks, we're going to see a bunch more tackles come off. And then that's unfortunate for the Chiefs. But right now, unless we know something that comes from the L'Jarius Sneed situation, if they trade him and they get capital, I can see them moving up. Without it, I do not think that they're going to move up. So I'm going to let this run a little bit more, and we're going to try to get to 20-ish. Yep, okay, hit that one. Fuaga, you get a couple of specialists, some corners. Then you get Fatano coming off. He was down in the 30s on this model a few months ago. I don't think he's going to stay there long. So we're going to see what happens. Devontae, glad you got that fixed. Nice to see it, and thanks for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, Kathy, we did see that Willie's moved on. That's too bad. I don't think there's enough. It's not a money thing, I don't think. I think Willie had gotten to what they feel is probably his peak in terms of fitting in this defense. And unless he was going to be super cheap, they were not going to renew him, I don't think. But let's do this. As we saw, the last tackle, the one that I actually really like is Fashanu. Comes off at 19. I'm hearing he might fall farther than that, but I can't tell you for sure. So at this point, a lot of the tackles are off. We're going to go down to our pick and take a look at what has happened. And I am hoping that what happened yesterday is going to happen again, because you see that Amarius Mims went. Latham went at 21. Barton, who I think is actually an interior player, I don't think he's going to stay at tackle in the league. And I think this is high for him. That's just my personal opinion. Then you get Donnie Mitchell, Brian Thomas coming off there just a little bit before us. Before they went Guyton, who was the guy I was hoping to see, and that didn't work. And then Troy Franklin goes just before us to the 49ers. Now, what's problematic here is this is the trade that I saw yesterday. And this is very emblematic about what exactly could happen. If we go back to the top, what you'll see is the Patriots went wide receiver with their top pick. And maybe I need to make this a little bit bigger for everybody. You guys let me know in the chat if this helps, because I do want everybody to see everything. So nice to see you there, Daryl. And Carson, I will get to your question here coming up in a little bit. I just got to make sure I nail everything else first. So hold on with me. So in this scenario, this is what we get. We end up, and I'm going to try to make this just a bit bigger yet and see if I can get it done. And I think I'm going to be able to, if I don't screw it all the way up. There we go. I can move that over a little bit, and we're flush again. Okay, so this is what I was hoping for. They went Neighbors first, and now you come back, and the Patriots are on the clock at 34, the second pick of day 2. And they are ready to trade. And that's what I was hoping for, because this is a scenario that I do think is legit. Obviously, Panthers don't need to trade up. You don't think the Cardinals are going to trade up. The Commanders certainly should want to. And if I go look at who the trade candidates are, it is not the Patriots. It definitely should be. So despite I don't want to go back to 42. So what I did the other day, and this is very crazy because I swear they were just here making an offer. And what I want to do is come up there, and they're not letting me do it. So you know what? I'm going to start this over, and we're going to go through the same scenario until we get what we're expecting. Again, the 32 pick is going to be a pick that comes off for a lot of the teams that are looking to get that quarterback. And here's the example. Now they want to trade back in because they feel there's a quarterback on the list that they want. Same group here of tackles have gone off the board in this scenario. It's pretty consistent from what I've seen. So we're going to trade 32. And if we trade back and get 34, I want 68. I might have to give him a little pepper to get him there. I might have to give him 95. I don't want to, but I might have to. 9% chance there. So if I only ask for 103, does that do it for me? It really doesn't. But if I move 95 to 68 and I move 132 or 159 up to 130, 103, I'm a little bit more comfortable with that. So this is what I'm trying to get accomplished. I don't want just 103. I want that 68th pick. That's where I'm wanting to go. So I'm going to do whatever I can to try to get that. This is a little bit thin right now, but that's the concept that I'm going for. And I'm just going to check the chat, see if anybody has any serious qualms about what I'm doing here, because I do want to go through this. Okay, looks like it's better for everybody. A little bit more focus. And I'm hoping they keep L'Jarius Sneed as well. That is definitely part of it. In my thinking, that's where they need to be. So I'm going to take 103 out of it. I'm going to see what we have to do to get 103. I mean 68. We're going to have to give up 95. And we're probably going to have to give up 252. Okay, we're going to have to get something back for that. So maybe we can get that done. Move back just a little bit. 45%. I'll give you this. Nope. Okay. So if we trade back, we move 95 up to 68. We move 159 up to 137. That's a deal that I can live with. And what I'm getting at here is basically, I want to change the value by moving just a couple of slots back, knowing that one of those slots is going to be a quarterback that I couldn't care less about anyway. The only rub here is the Panthers and what they need, because they need a wide receiver as well. Now, in this particular scenario, if you look at what the Chiefs' needs are, we're looking at wide receiver and we're looking at offensive tackle. Donnie Mitchell's still on the board. Jordan Morgan came in under 33-inch arms. For the Chiefs, they're likely going to take him off the board because they have hard thresholds, and as I understand it, it's 33 inches. Kingsley Sumatai, I do think that he has day two potential, but they actually have him ranked about where I do. I actually have him in the 50s. It's way too early to take him here. I like Ricky Pearsall too. I like Keon. We could do a couple of things here, but I think one of them definitely involves moving back. So we are going to make this trade, and I am going to move back to get up to 68 from probably 95. I'm probably going to have to do 95. I don't think we're going to have an option otherwise. No, we're not. But if I move up from 95, see if I can get him to throw something else in too. Because I'm all about throwing something else in. And I'll even swap you. I'll swap you sevenths. How's that? And I'll move up 20 picks. So I'm going to offer this trade, and they're going to take it. And we're going to be happy because there's going to be a Donnie Mitchell ghost right there at 33 ahead of us. They took J.J. McCarthy to the Patriots. That's what I thought was going to happen, is they were there for the quarterback. And that's fine with me because I couldn't care less. This keeps squeezing in on me, folks. Hold on. Let me try to get that back again. There we go. Hopefully I can get that. See, that's what messes everything up on the banner on PFF. For those of you who play with this, you probably know better than me how to keep it from doing that, but it's a mystery to me right now. So we're back to looking at wide receivers and offensive tackles, and our picks are still the same. The only guy we lost out on is Donnie Mitchell. I know a lot of people like him. I'm trying to go for an alternate concept here. So we have moved back. We're at 34. We have 64 and 68. There are more trade offers here, and I could see doing this again. The Chargers are never going to do this. That's kind of stupid. But let's say we move back with the Commanders 2 more. What would they give up? Looks like nothing. They are not interested in moving. Okay. So Chargers it is. We'll fleece them and we'll feel good about it, right? They will give us 105 just for moving back 3 spots. Now, if I give you, see, I'm not willing to do that either. So my thought is here, I can get a top 100 pick. We were at 94. I can get 105 back by moving back 3 more spots. I'm comfortable doing that. And if I'm Brett Veach, I definitely want to do that because I'm getting more for my money. And I might even be able to, again, get him to throw in another pick. And I'll give you 231. There you go. We're getting out of the 7th round. I'm going to give them again. And I think the third time they're going to take it. Okay. Bada boom. We're going to move back 3 more. Chargers get to make their pick. Couldn't care less. I ain't scared of them. What did they do? They took Braswell. Okay. They're going to trade Khalil Mack. It looks like they're going to try to offload Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. So, hey, more power to you. I hope you guys have a great time because I am not here for that. Just playing around with the views here, try to give you guys, I guess I can give you this. Not much there, but it is what it is. So we're back in the same boat. An edge and Adisa Isaac, way too high for him, in my opinion. Mike Sanistrol goes off here. That's a fairly good value pick there. But no wide receivers, no tackles. We're in the same position. And now we have 37, 64, 68, and 105. Now I think we're getting close to where I'm feeling like we probably want to make a selection. A lot of guys here. We're not taking Michael Penix. I actually think he will be in the mix for someone at this point. I'm not huge on Ricky Pearsall. On Roman Wilson. I'm sorry. I am huge on Ricky Pearsall. I don't think the Chiefs will go Morgan or Sumatai. So the question becomes for me, I think Pearsall you can get around later. And I think they have to go big. The title of this show is Power Mock Draft. That's what I'm looking to do. I just want to back up for just a minute. Big Jack, why would the Pats trade in that scenario? Because they don't have a quarterback. They came up specifically to get JJ because they want to have the 5th-year option on a quarterback that they can deal. And that's really the big thing. That's why 32, maybe 31 is always a hot pick every year. And Cole, you nailed it. We're going to come back to that here in a minute. What happened earlier, I'm just running this scenario through to see if I can do that. Let's see. Anything else? Yes, 5th year would be important. You got to remember, Bill Belichick's out of there. It's not the same old operation anymore. Do you realize every team will require above average trade value from the Chiefs? I like you trading back and up. Yeah, and that's the thing, Jerome. Most of the time I would agree with you, but especially when it comes to that 32nd pick, when it's very specifically a quarterback that they're coming for, they can hold all the grudges they want. Eventually, they got to get done what they got to get done. And for most franchises, that's going to trump the fact they don't want to help the Chiefs out. So what this comes down to for me is Jermaine Burton, who a lot of people like. The kid moved around a little bit. Was it Georgia? Come to Burton. Burton comes to Alabama. Maybe not as explosive, maybe some, but a lot of folks want a little bit more power. I want Rasheed to have a partner that demands coverage. And one that I think that does that is Keon Coleman. This is a toss-up for me. In reality, depending on if this scenario were a little bit different, I would be looking at Ricky, but I don't think Ricky is enough right now to spend 37 on. If this was 60 or 64, like we're going to get to, I will definitely consider that. But let's go Coleman here and go power. This is what happened to me in the scenario earlier. And that's what I'm trying to kind of recreate because it was kind of unique. We go through, Fisk goes off the board. With Chris back in camp, D-tackle is still a need because you got to give him a partner or something, but it's not like you got to go first round. So Fisk would have been an option possibly at 32 if he were still available and they hadn't gotten Chris Jones done. But they have. Darius Robinson is probably here at 47. It's the upper end for me. I have him right around 60, but I think that that's perfectly fine. Ricky did go. Jordan Morgan did go. Kingsley did go, as did Burton and Roman. Okay, so a lot of guys that we were talking about did go off right here. Leggett, that's a little bit high. Usually I see Polk and McMillan go before him, but that's perfectly fine because we're not really concerned about that. What we're concerned about is now that we have a top wide receiver, what do we have left? Well, let's double check that because, yes, Xavier Worthy is still here in this scenario. I'm not going to take him, and I'm going to tell you guys why. I don't think he lasts to 64. in any concept that I can come up with. I just don't see it happening. So I'm not going to go reach for that now, because I want to try to be as uh, realistic as I possibly can. So I need to look at the tackles. There's a couple of those guys there, and we need to look at the defensive tackles. We can look at edges too, but defensive linemen in general. And I think this is where it starts to get interesting. So here's what I'm going to do before we do anything else is take a look at what our trade offers are. We're at 64, and we also have 68. So we have the Giants that want to come up from 70. We have the Lions that want to come up from 73. Either of those is fine with me, because I'm more happy to trade with NFC teams than anything else. So to answer Samuel, if Ladd's there and none of the tackles are there and you can't get out of the pick, I can live with Ladd McConkey at 32. I actually have him in the 30s, just around 37, 38 right now. So that is something that I could live with. I'd rather take him trade back and take that. And he could have been one of those possibly if he were there. But let's see what the Giants want to offer us. We could move back from 64 to 68, just 6 spots, knowing that we have one in between. And can we pick up 107? It's possible. I'll give you 173 if it helps anything. I'll take your 141 too, maybe. Maybe I can get 183. And so maybe we can get another a pick at 107. That's not terrible. Let's look at the Lions. And they don't have anything to offer. I don't want that trade. So it is the Giants that I'm working with at 70 and 107. And can I get a second pick back? And can I get it? I can't get it with the 68. So we're going to trade out of 64. And I'm going to get 107. I think I have to give them something. And so I'm going to move back 10. We're going to see if this works. I've not tried this scenario, but it did. Okay. So we're going to move back. Our next pick, we have Giants, Panthers, Cards, Commanders. Let's see what happens. It goes Rattler again, last pick in the second round. A team comes up for a quarterback again. Not shocking. And that works just fine. Thank you very much. If you guys are done with Danny Dimes, come get Spencer Rattler. I think that's a wasted pick, but that's just me. Then Ruccaroro, I think that's a really interesting pick, and I like Braylon Trice. Not anywhere near what I expected. I expect him to be more explosive. I think he sapped himself by dropping like 25 pounds, which is probably a mistake. But now here we are. Coleman went off as well, linebacker. Too high for me. I would not have done that. Now we're in this conundrum. And again, we're going to discount Xavier Worthy because I don't think there's any way in hell this actually ever happens. But let us see here the other things that we need to get done. We do have some offers. We could trade back yet again because we have 70 and 2 more picks. Let's see what Detroit wants to give us now. 73 and 164, and that's still not much of a deal. I'm not interested. Let's see what the Bears want. Old Ryan Poles coming back. I want your 110, buddy. I hate to tell you. Okay. Can I get 122 as well? No, I can't. But I'll take this. If they're willing to do this, I'll move back 2 more spots yet again, still have pick 75, and I'm going to pick up 110. And this is the craziness that I live for. Between you guys and me, this is the stuff that I love, because you never know what's going to happen in the league. If somebody would actually take this, I would freak out. But hey, that's okay. Let's see what happens. And they did. So we're moving back that pick 7 spots, but we're picking up 110, and we are on the clock in 2 more picks. Let's see what they do. They wanted the running back Brooks. Fine. Guard Haynes goes to the Chargers. Good. Keep building up those lines. That's absolutely fine. Your wide receivers can't catch nothing. Now we're in position at 70 that I really, really like, and I don't want to trade anymore. This is the sweet spot for me. And when we look at it, I think you guys are going to get why. Because, yes, this Worthy thing is here. But if you needed to go wide receiver, there's Des Walker there. I like that. Blake Fisher is playable. Booker is here if you needed another edge. Thrash is here. Brendan Rice is here, and I do like him. Jalen Wright, the running back. Okay, he's good too. You come down. This is the sweet spot because the top tier tackles went. And when the top tier tackles were off the board, you got to find a way to still give Wanye some competition, give somebody else who might be able to beat him out. Paul's the guy that I've been looking at. After Guyton, I actually feel that Patrick Paul's the next tackle that I would take. And so I really like that. Yeah, you're not every single 7th round pick. I'm looking for the thirds and fourths. That's what I'm looking for. So here's the coolest part is we have 70 and we have 75, and I'm looking to take tackles. What stands out here? What might be the best combination to put next to Chris Jones? Well, 340 pounds man in Tavondre Sweat sounds pretty damn good to me. And this is exactly what happened yesterday when I ran the scenario. So we're going to take him at 70. We're going to see what happens after. Worthy goes right after him. Tez goes after that. Dorless, who I actually think is an interior player as well. Glad they changed his position, goes. Then Johnny Wilson goes to the Falcons, a guy that can be, he can be a wide receiver. He can be a slot. He can be a tight end. I do like him, and he's a guy that I'll keep an eye on for the Chiefs. And now we come back, and now we have our choice. Now we're going to take care of business. And, where we are currently in the 3rd round, we're going to get good value. But it comes down to this. Are we going to take Blake Fisher, Patrick Paul, or Dominic Pooney? And I like Pooney. You guys know I'm a Jayhawk. I mean, yeah, it's pretty obvious. I would love to take him. The only problem is I'm not as comfortable as him competing as Wanye as I am maybe being the backup interior guy. But I can't spend 75 on a backup interior guy. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm going Paul a little bit over Fisher. I haven't done Fisher yet. Did Alt. Man, I think Dan's actually working on both of them right now. But for right now, just for tonight's scenario until next week and we do this again, I'm going to take Patrick Paul and I'm going to fill that left tackle competition spot. And I might just take a quick look at who wants to trade because Falcons want to come up. And I'm not going to give him 75. I want to get to 79, and I'll give you those. That ain't going to do it. My goal was to try to not drop another 30 picks. I was trying to get back in, you know what I mean? But that's okay. We have several here. So I'll come back to that in a minute. We're going to make our selection of Paul, and we're going to be running to the podium, happy as clams, and we're going to have filled a gap. And I have forgotten left it on turbo, so I didn't get a chance to stop it. So we're going to see what happened for the rest of those picks. Brendan Rice did go. Booker did go. You saw Gabriel Murphy come off of there. That's a good value, in my opinion. Cam Kitchens, Thrash, Trotter, Malachi Morley. That's about the right spot for him. Corum comes off a little high, but that's okay. Bucky from Oregon, the halfback as well. And Michael Hall, that's a nice pick for the Bengals. That's another smaller dude that's going to rush you like his life depends on it. That's a good addition for them. Dang, that's who I was looking for. I was trying to get to Chris Abrams-Drain. He was somebody at this pick that I thought we might have a chance at that I was trying to get to. Oh, shoot, and I didn't make this big enough. So this is how it fell through here. Bucky, Dadrian, Andrew Phillips, Michael Hall at 97. I think that was a pretty good pick. Liufa, I think, is an interesting player. He could be somebody that fits in the Chiefs scheme. I just don't think they're going to spend a top 100 on a linebacker. And let me see if I can zoom this in any more. Make that any better for y'all. No. Okay, maybe just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now I got to scroll the whole thing again. Okay, it is what it is. Whoop. Okay, so that brings us to the top, and Abrams-Drain was the guy that I was looking for. I like Jacob Cowing too, and so in this scenario, if it got to the 94 pick or something, and they hadn't gotten a receiver, Cowing is a guy that I would look at. I do like that kind of value right there, and so now we're on the clock again, back to back to back to back. So we're going to take a look at who we like in players, and lo and behold, Pooney is still available. That's a nice addition, a guy that can replace Allegretti, that can play 5 positions. That's pretty remarkable at this point. I think we have to look at a couple other positions as well. That's how they have them ranked. And man, I'm going to have to zoom out again to give you a little bit better of the list. Christian Jones is a guy that I had as a deep day 3 tackle that we could look at. I do think he has upside. Kamara is an edge that I do really like, and I think he has upside. My guy Shipley, he's my running back dark horse, and I do think he's somebody they could look at on day 3. Then you get into some tight ends. Let's see what we can get. We have a lot of quality right here in front of us. And I think if nothing else, we want to make sure that we're not passing on a weapon for Patrick Mahomes. I think we have time to go get Sanat. I'm not taking Stover. I don't like the upside for him. He's an inline Y in my opinion, and I don't think that we need to. We can come back later, and we have multiple picks before he's supposed to go off this board. We have 5 picks before then. I think we're going to be just fine on the tight end realm right here. We can double dip on wide receiver if we want. Let's see who's here. Javon Baker's an interesting selection. Marcus Rosemary-Jackson, I think we could come back for him later and do all right. I'm not a huge Smith fan. Excuse me, guys. So we covered tight end. We covered wide out. Let's get to the corners, because this is value here, in my opinion. If they lose L'Jarius Sneed, and it is a possibility, you're going to see most likely Jalen Watson start on one side, Trent McDuffie start on the outside somewhere else, and either Najee Johnson or Chamari Connor start in at the nickels. That's what I expect. And so you do want to backfill and get more talent in there. And Abrams Drain was my solution to that here a little bit, and we missed out on him. So my next guy on my list is Cam Hart from Notre Dame, and I don't think we should pass on him. So given there's only one pick until we choose again, I'm just going to grab him. You guys let me know what you think, but I'm just trying to give you my justifications here as we go along. Let's get Cole's question too. Not referring to mocks, referring to the real draft. But if you were Rhett Veach and Joe Alt were still on the board at 32, would you take him? Absolutely. He's not as nimble as they've taken in the past. I would scream up there completely. But no, there is no way he'll be there. If he got to 16, I would consider trading up if I had value from what we saw in could be trade value for L'Jarius Sneed. Let me take this off again. And so you can see what we just did. We took Cam Hart. Somebody took Tommy Eichenberg. I think that's a little high for him too. He's undersized, and I'm not sure that we're going to go there. So we have, again, 2 picks here coming up in the next 4. We don't have a huge gap. Pooney is definitely an option here. I'm not ready to go running back yet. So I'm just taking a look at who could come off the board and who we like. It is very, very clear to me that we're going to stay in state with at least one of these selections. Now, I lean, of course, to the Jayhawk. So I'll let you guys vote. Is it Jayhawk Pooney or is it Cooper Beebe, a guard versus Pooney, who can be an Allegretti and kind of play all over the place? Let's see. We got a couple of super chats. You guys vote in the live chat, and I'll answer these. Thank you, Carson. I appreciate you. Do you think the Chiefs re-sign Sneed? The cornerback market does not seem to be there. It doesn't. And so I think there are 2 possibilities. I don't think he plays on the tag no matter what. He'll either sign an extension that lowers his cap number so they get some of that cap space back, or they will trade him and get some picks. I'm not sure which. I just can't get a feel for how they really feel or if the value is there. But I don't think he plays on the tag. That's what I know. Chris Wright, thank you. Thoughts on keeping Sneed on CP market is drying up, and a 19 million tank might end up keeping 38 and 95. I certainly hope so. But again, it will be on extension. That $19 million price tag is going to come down to about $7 million like it did for Chris. And that's exactly what the contract structures are meant to do so that you have cap space. Thank you both for your questions. I'm going to check the responses here. I'm getting a lot of Pooney, a couple of BBs. Must be all Jayhawks in here tonight. Okay. In my last scenario, just so you know, Staters, I did take BB. This time, because he's here, I'm going to take Pooney, and we'll see what happens next week when we do this. So then comes Marshawn Lloyd, who's a back that I don't spend a 109 on a running back. But then we come back, and we're right back on the clock. Now, we don't have trade offers here. This is about where the trade offers dry up. I didn't look at the last one because I knew I wanted to take a guy. If we hadn't taken Pooney, I would say BB's the guy that we want to look at. But the guy that I really want is I want more pass rush on the outside, and I like Muhammad Kamara. He's not the fastest, he's not the biggest, but he plays like his hair is freaking on fire. And that's what I'm here for. If I could trade back, I would, because I think you can still get him a little bit later. And there's another guy that I would like to package with. So maybe that's where we can come in, or maybe we'll just roll our chances and I'll save that for next week. So unless anybody's really, really upset about it, I'm going to take Muhammad Kamara and I'm going to smile that we got another edge rusher to rotate in with FAU and give us more attack on the quarterbacks. That's what I'm coming for pretty much all the dang time. And this worked out the way that I had hoped. What we saw is Baker did go. Trey Benson, the running back, went. I do like him. BB did come off at 124. You saw Smith Wade, who's another corner that I think could be a value on day 3 for the Chiefs, go. Christian Jones, the tackle that I talked about, went. Braylon Allen, I like him more than Dan, but I'm okay with bigger power backs. And I like having a stable of backs that you can just throw at a team. So I'm happy with that. But here's the big deal. The thing that can change things, we're on the clock now at 132, and we have 140 coming up as well. Now we're in position. We're in position to take my guy Shipley. And I really, really like him because he's a pass catcher. He can do a little bit of everything, and I think he can fit this offense to a T. And I think he's really being slept on right now. So, Thundarius, I'm sorry about the UGA picks, bro. I haven't been able to pull those off yet, buddy. But Benson, I can understand how people think he's a value. Garendo, he's the guy who blew up the combine at the running back spot. I can see how people would be interested in him. Then we get to Sanat. And I think Sanat's kind of the sweet spot to have a K-State guy land on this roster. You need somebody that you are looking for to add a little bit of firepower. Now, they just brought in Irv Smith, and I know people are excited about that. I don't understand what's going on with the Noah Gray rumors. I think they're just Florio being Florio. But even if they did, they'd have 2 H-backs because Irv is more of a Noah Gray type than a Travis Kelce type. So I think when it comes to secondary weapon, we should be looking at tight end, and we should be looking at wide receiver again. I do like Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint. There's your GGA pick we could go with, Thundarius. And there's going to be a couple others here as well. I do like Holker. More of a why, more of what they don't have right now in Blake Bell. But I'm gonna go a little bit out of order, and at 132, just before the 5th round, which is usually my cutoff. I usually will not spend a 4th round pick on a back. I like Will Shipley enough in this offense. I'm going to grab him. You guys, if you disagree with that, please let me know. Grizz, evidently there's rumors out there on Twitter that Noah Gray is going to retire. I don't know what that's about. I'm sure it's unfounded because it came from Florio. So that's where clock at 140 currently. Let me get that back on there as I itch my nose again. Here we go. Back on the clock at 140. And Garendo's still there. Nelson Caesar is an interesting player. Obviously played at Houston, not a ton of upside with the competition level, but it's coming on. They're getting better. Jackson's still there. I do like him. Who else are we getting into? Holker is my guy there. Did Sanat go? Did we lose him? We did. Patriots came and grabbed him. There you go. So we could still be looking at tight end. We could be looking at other weapons here. I like Bo Braid myself. Just like his vibe. Running back I also like is Dylan Lobb. Later, if we didn't get Shipley, I would have looked at him later in the draft. As we're coming down here, we do have some trade options. I don't really want to trade back very much, but if it's just 3 and you're going to give me another pick, well, then I'm going to go with it. But they don't have anything really to offer. And I don't really want to go back with the Broncos, so we're going to pick here. So, again, I want to look at what can help us. Theo Johnson ran really well. Dallin Holker's a little bit of everything, and I think he ran poorly at the Combine. I expect his pro day to be much better. Tip Ryman ran really well. I'm not sure that all translates to the field, but it could. We still have volume here in Rosemary's. Jack Saint's still there at wideout. Let me go just to wideouts here. Not a huge guy on McCaffrey, but he does have speed. I love Jordan Whittington, a guy that is like underneath possession guy that I love his nastiness. He will do anything for a team, and he's a guy I'll keep on my eye on for maybe our last pick, that kind of thing. Let's see where we're at safety. They just brought back our guy who made a great series of plays in the postseason in Deion Bush. I'm glad they got him back. That's great depth. Oh, I added wide receiver to safety. That's my bad. Oh, let's just get to safety all by itself. Malik Mustafa could be serviceable. Again, another Jayhawk. I would always take a chance on that, but I don't see a whole lot of talent here at safety that I'm looking for. So let's see what other options we have. We could need some linebacker fill-in. Right now, Cam Jones, I think, is going to be the guy that steps in with Willie's absence. Barrett's certainly an interesting one. I like Tyron Hopper and Jalen Ford. We have a Jayhawk. So we missed out on Sanat. We should come back and look at Tyron Hopper there later, maybe with our last pick. Anybody have positional awareness that they want right now? Jared Wiley has good size. I don't necessarily agree, Cordarius, that he moves as well. Maybe I need to see more film on him. So we're going to see what else we have here. We picked up a guy that can play on the interior. I'm surprised Zinter's still here, by the way. I would think he would have moved on and been selected by now. Who else do we have? We went to corner. Let's look at DIs again. We could double stack. There is a gap inside right now. I'm not seeing a ton of talent here, but I would say Wingo is probably, I don't know, I might take Mason Smith over him, actually. No, we'll just go with it. If we go DI, I think that would be the pick. Edges, we picked one up. I think Grayson Murphy, the other brother, is still there. Jalen Harrell had a nice, but he's more of like a 3-4 outside linebacker. Brennan Jackson didn't finish the Senior Bowl. I really wanted to see him because I haven't been able to see much Wazoo tape. So I think we're in pretty good shape overall. And I think this is what it comes down to. Right here, we need to look at a weapon or a guy up front. So it comes down to one of these, either Mekhi Wingo inside, knowing that we have 19 picks until our next selection, or Rosemary Jackson, Theo Johnson. Those are probably the best weapons available on the board. I can live with Holker if we get to that. So I'm just going to go right now tonight with Wingo as he's highest ranked here on this particular one. And we'll see what comes with it. Zinter goes, Braid goes, Mason Smith does go. And so we're on the clock here. And the tight ends did go. So Holker is our next guy. So we're going to grab him because I do think he's serviceable and I like what he brings to the table. And this is going to be our Mr. Irrelevant. And we went tight end. I think we're good there. Let's look at interior offensive line. Bartolini is an athlete. CJ Hansen is a good athlete. We could pick up either of those guys, and I'd be happy with additional services inside. I don't know that that's got to be here. And let's look at interior. We just picked up another, but you never know what's going to fall through the cracks. You know what I mean? And let's look at edge. Brennan Jackson. Okay. He was still available. I think when you take it all in, I think probably the best available is we're looking at either a sweetheart pick because I like my guy Whittington, or we go with a linebacker depth guy from Mizzou. Let me know what you guys think. Put it in the chat there. Okay, I'm not seeing much. Go ahead and put it in there, you guys. I'm leaning towards Whittington myself just because I like him and I want him to have enough options. Bertolini's a nice interior guy, and Tyron Hopper. Oh, we could maybe we hit a home run hitter, a guy with some speed. Jason McClellan could be on the board too. What do y'all think? Hopper, Devonshire, Hopper. I haven't seen Bird up close yet, Brett, but thanks for bringing that up. Whittington, Hopper. So you think we have enough wideouts is the thing. Let's go with the local guy. And we're good at running back. Is that what we're saying with Shipley backing up Pacheco? Is that what y'all think? Okay. Well, we're at 45 minutes. We're going to take a linebacker, a local guy, get him on the roster. We're going to let this thing pan out. I don't care in the slightest what PFF wants to grade this at, because that is not what I'm here for. We're going to let it wrap up, and we'll see what we end up with. And again, sorry for the voice. Still coming off being sick. So don't pay attention to the PFF grades. They don't matter. They're just going off of their ratings versus where we selected them. Calling Keon Coleman at 37 a C+ is silly. Calling Devondre Sweat only a B at 70 is crazy. But this is what we've gotten done. Added Coleman up top. Added Devondre Sweat next to Chris Jones and bolstered that interior, not just against the run, but against the pass as well. Came back with Patrick Quall, who will compete with Wandy Morris for tackle rights. Maybe Juwan flips over to left. They'll be able to take their pick. If that doesn't work out, 2 picks later, we got Dominic Pooty, who can play inside, can be the next Nick Allegretti, or could end up fighting for a starting job at tackle or anywhere else. The guy will even snap. So if you want to move Creed over to left guard after Joe Tooney retires, you might have your next center in Pooty right now. So I love that pick. The versatility just screams. Cam Hart bolsters what could be moving on from L'Jarius Sneed. I'm really happy with that. You get another edge rusher. BJ Thomas is going to fight for that. Malik Herring signed back on his tender, so he's coming back. You add Wingo into the depth at interior. Now you have 3 or 4 or 5 functional guys. You come back with another tight end in Dallin Hooker from Colorado State, who I'm really happy with. And we add Tyron Hopper to bolster what is Cam Jones being the 4th right now, and probably Jack Cochran and Cole Christensen fighting for the last roster spot. So you want to give them a little bit of competition there. So I'm glad. The big thing was Will Shipley. I was glad to see it come off there. And now we have a 1-2 punch in the backfield that I feel pretty comfortable with. They'll add UDFAs as well, and that's going to go a long way. So while I don't care what PFF thinks, let me know what you think, because this is the whole point of doing the exercise, is to see how you guys like it. And I'm going to zoom that in so it works a little bit more. So again, a lot of trades up top got us a lot of value, and we compressed our picks from 32 to 37 and got, what was it? Good Lord, what did we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the top 110. That's pretty impressive and gets you a lot of talent at a lot of spots. So that's one version of a mock draft. Not going to be the last one. We'll definitely do a ton more, but that's tonight's version. So let me know what you think. Like, sub, hit the bell if you're not with us already. Appreciate you guys staying up late. Sorry for the technical difficulties before, but I think this was a lot of fun. And if you enjoy it, please hit the like and please become a subscriber. For those of you that are new members, if you're at the rookie level or above, you get all the extra content. You get into the Discord. You get the whole 9 yards. Discord's easy. You go into your Discord and you go into your settings and just connect your YouTube account to your Discord account, and it's a home run. Super, super simple. Terry, fair enough. We'll do something else with another flavor of running back or wide receiver next week. No problem. We're going to do these all the time, so we get as many scenarios through our heads as we like. So thank you for spending the time with me. I very much appreciate it. Thanks for staying up late too. And Dan's got film tomorrow on the guy that we both feel would be a great addition as a left tackle to this roster. So don't miss that tomorrow. Thanks for being with me tonight, and we'll follow that up. Have a good one.